Hey, shh. Calm down. The show is about to start. Reese on the radio. Turn it up. Turn it up loud. Turn it up loud.
It's like a dream come true.
Turn on your radio. Reese is on the radio.
Yo, let's get it.
Due to the nature of this program, discretion does not exist. It's Reese on the radio. Right now on WTIC News Talk.
What up, y'all? It's Negro Nonsense Thursday. Oh, man. And a whole lot of other nonsense to boot. You know what time it is. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080. Welcome you all here. I wasn't trying to be in a bad mood. I was feeling all right, doing my job, and I had a phone call exchange with somebody today. We'll get into that. It will get in roughly about the 4 o'clock hour when we do Negro Nonsense, so stay tuned for that. You don't want to miss it. Roland, do you want to? I just sent you the text message. Do you remember the clip I'm talking about? Does that ring a bell?
Oh, hold up.
Okay, I want you to see the clip to make sure that you have before we get into the opening monologue. I just want to make sure. That
yeah.
Okay, you remember that clip? Okay, I just want that clip where he says that line, so I can have it for Negro Nonsense at 4 o'clock. I'm so excited, very, very excited. Anyway, what is going on in Washington, which can only be described as palace intrigue. That's what it always is. Many people want to talk about it for several reasons. Yesterday, I got these messages inside, the chat room. When are we going to talk about the shutdown? What haven't you heard? Like, what did you miss? You know that the Democrats are holding out so they can give Medicare or Medicaid to illegals. You know that. You know that there's a debate going back and forth. Like, this is why it's all nonsense. And I just don't want to play a part in that nonsense. The reason why I don't want to play a part in that is this reason. I'm not of the ilk that does radio the way that it is prescribed by these folks in the industry. I know it's something that you used to, but I have heard people tell me, it's like, he's doing the same thing that the other guy is doing. I've heard that over and over again. And then, what do I hear about this program? And this is from you, not me. I don't want to boast myself. I'm not Kanye West here. You guys always say, Reese, you are a breath of fresh air. And it's not like you guys haven't had your fill of conservative talk show hosts. And I'm not doing it on purpose in the sense of, like, I'm trying something. Yeah, let's see how they respond to this. No, this is Reese. You're getting me the way that I communicate with everyone. I am not a put on. This is not some act. I know a lot of folks, in the hood, and some people, black and brown, who don't listen to talk radio, they listen to me and they go, he's got to be putting it on, right? That's not like a real person. I'm a real person. These ideas have been formed for over 30, 40 years. They're new to you because everybody is trying to do a shtick. I'm not shtick. I'm not a guy who doesn't do my homework. I love all of this. And when I say live and love for it, I wake up in the morning, phone in hand, checking the news. Hey, what are these bozos talking about? Who's repeating the same nonsense? Who sounds like everybody else? I love it. I'm a creature of this. This is where I live. This is my jungle. So if I'm telling you I'm not going to do the usual nonsense that you hear from everywhere else, it's for good reason. Why? Because you come to this program and you go, yep, you'll be sitting at home And you'll go, and I know you have because you told me. Damn, Reese, they were doing a story you did yesterday. Yep, day late, dollar short. Why are they always a day late and a dollar short? Because I know what they're going to do before they're going to do it. Oh, and by the way, can I applaud me? I want to applaud myself. Allow me to applaud myself. Go look up the story by Catherine Heritage, formerly of Fox News, formerly of CBS News. Look at the story that she now has on her X page. Whom did the DOJ send a letter to demanding information from? None other than Andrew Weissman, the guy who I said was one of the big fish on my list. And it looks like the DOJ is going after him. Who told you that here? Who told you that here before it happened? This guy. So with all due respect, I'm not trying to be arrogant or, try to pat myself on my own back. I'm trying to explain to you, don't come here with the same old nonsense. Why are we talking about the nonsense everybody else is talking about? I'm not trying to do that for you. On the cutting edge of societal evolution, right? Isn't that what Rush used to say? I used to think it was cute, but now I get it. And it's not about being clairvoyant. It's knowing, it's habits. It's understanding how the newsrooms work. It's also the reason why they're failing, because they keep doing it the same way. They're trying to innovate. I get it. Now many of them are trying to incorporate the alternative media into the mainstream. Nice try, folks. Nice try. By the way, don't ask me. I know people are saying, it's like, well, you should be on that Fox News channel. No, thank you. I'm just not interested. I'm going to grow. This show is going to grow the way that I grow, the way that I see fit. I will not ever have anybody dictate this program but me. That's going to be the bottom line. I got here on my own merits. I got here with my own talent. I've had some help along the way, of course. My good friend and yours, Todd Feinberg, who I truly believe that man plucked me out of obscurity. That came from God. I waited. I was patient. I didn't send any tapes out to anybody. I wasn't doing any feelers. But I got here through the grace of this network and Todd Feinberg plucking me out of obscurity and me being here. And I promised him as much as I promised Janine, as much as I promised Joey, as much as I promised my producer, Emmy Award-winning producer Roland, that I was going to make this show bigger than ever. And I was going to do it my way. I promised you for the rest of my life. And if I should ever go big, my home is in the Nutmeg State. This is where I got my start in 2004. This is where I ended up 20 years later. 20 years later, I ended up right back here. So I knew it was predestined. There is no way that I'm ever going to do all this other nonsense that everybody else is doing. I know I'm supposed to be here, and I believe it. Hell, I don't believe it. I know it. Now, with that being said, let's talk about the shutdown. Anyway, the shutdown, I just want to do this, if I may. If you go online and you ask people, or if you ask your search engines, isn't Hakeem Jeffries and the Democrats lying when they say that not one dime is going to illegals or undocumented people, as they call them, in the Medicaid coverage? And guess what? They will tell you, no, they are not lying. They are telling the truth. Not one dime. But in the next sentence, they say, however, emergency Medicaid is going to undocumented people. And to which I said to Grok, That's the same damn thing. Emergency Medicaid is Medicaid, isn't it? And Grok responds, yes, that is true. And then I respond by saying, then why are you telling me that he's lying? Because they are covering for them. And I'm going to give you the greatest example of this cover-up that happened literally 40 minutes apart on the same program with the same talk show host. I'm not kidding you. 40 minutes apart on the same show with the same talk show host with two different congressmen. It was the wildest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. But I'm going to show it to you. Let's start at 5:09 p.m. Eastern Time yesterday on Jake Tapper, Out Front. No, is it Out Front? What is he on? I forget what his show is called. It's not Out Front. That's Aaron's show. Jake Tapper's show. Here is Hakeem Jeffries. No, sorry, Mark Wayne Mullen. Sorry, talking to Jake Tapper about the provision that the Democrats are trying to put back in this clean CR.
Is funding, taxpayer funding for illegal aliens. They're wanting the American people to continue funding insurance for those that should never have been in this country to begin with.
Now stop. It is important to pay attention to Jake Tapper. It is his show. He is the one conveying that information to you, the audience, while talking to two people on either side of the aisle. Pay very close attention to Jake Tapper's response to what Mark Wayne Mullen is saying about this provision. I will wind it back so you can hear it. Listen, Jake Tapper's response.
Funding, taxpayer funding for illegal aliens. They're wanting the American people to continue funding insurance for those that should never have been in this country to begin with.
Well, so
and I know Chuck Schumer says that that's not.
No. I've looked into it. I know what you're talking about. I just want to explain to our viewers. So there is a provision that the Democrats want to get rid of, and part of it is Medicaid reimbursements, emergency Medicaid reimbursements to hospitals. Some of which does go to undocumented immigrants using health care there to those hospitals. Some of it is also for people who are in this country legally but are not citizens, people who are refugees or people who have temporary protected status.
So you heard Jake Tapper there confirm what Mark Wayne Mullen has said and suggested. Let me stop you so I can describe it to my audience. Jake Tapper, the anchor. Then 40 minutes later, same show, talking to Hakeem Jeffries, showing Hakeem Jeffries what you just heard on paper. Listen to Jake Tapper. Hakeem Jeffries, not important. He's going to say it's a lie. Listen to Jake Tapper, who, again, just confirmed that Mark Wayne Mullen is telling the truth.
So let me ask you about a provision that the Republicans are talking about quite a bit. I know you want to talk about, and Democrats want to talk about, extending the Obamacare subsidies, which expire at the end of 2025. But they talk about the provisions, and it's right here, subtitle E, and this has to do with the repeal of health care subtitle changes, and specifically what it is. How they characterize it is you want to give health insurance to undocumented immigrants.
How they characterize it? 40 minutes earlier, he was confirming that it was true. Now it's there characterizing it. Interesting.
I understand that's not really an accurate depiction, but what it does do is...
What? I understand that it's not an accurate... Why didn't he make that claim to Mark Wayne Mullen? He seems to be making it for Hakeem Jeffries.
That's a lie. It's a lie, but what...
I know you heard it. He is agreeing with Hakeem Jeffries now, 40 minutes later, it's a lie. It's one thing when the guy's saying it 3 years ago, 4 years ago, hell, a year ago. 40 minutes. Jake Tapper goes from, let me explain to the audience exactly what the Democrats are doing here. Hakeem Jeffries shows up. Yes, it's a lie. How can both be true?
What you support does bring back funding for emergency Medicaid to hospitals, some of which does pay for undocumented immigrants and people who don't have health insurance. And also there is this provision, and it's not about undocumented immigrants, it's about people with asylum seekers and people with temporary protected status, et cetera, but about their ability to get Medicaid. So they're non-citizens, they're not undocumented.
So you hear Jake Tapper now here 40 minutes later, giving a cushion, patting the bottom of Hakeem Jeffries. Yeah. I mean, it's not really the things that the Republicans are talking about. The thing that everybody heard me 40 minutes ago confirm is accurate. Now, in your face, I'm going to sit up here and pretend. I don't know. Now, I know that you're saying to yourself, but Reese, that's just them. Oh, don't worry, folks. That wasn't for you. The people who listen to this program know exactly who that was for. For the liars. The ones who are in the chat room, screaming and hollering, talking about, it isn't true, Reese. It's not true. My premiums are going up. I don't know why. And it's obvious why. You don't know why because you can't trust the people who are supposed to convey the truth to you. Even Jake Tapper can't keep a straight face or tell the truth within 40 minutes. Within 40 minutes. That's how despicable this is. You know it, I know it, they all know it. And that's why they're losing. That's why Donald Trump has them against the ropes. His messaging is working. When we come back, I'm going to play you a fantastic supercut that includes our very own Chris Murphy. You wait until you actually hear that knucklehead and what he says about shutdowns. Oh, and it's a whole bunch of them as well. We'll get to all of that. So stand by. We got more news and more views coming at you. I understand that Yale is changing the name of its African American Studies program. It's now going to be called Black Stuff. No, I'm kidding. I'm sorry. It's got a much cooler name than that. No, I think my name is cooler. Black Stuff. That's what I would have called it. I have a degree in black stuff. We'll talk about it. Stand by. More news, more views that you can shake a stick at. You know who it is. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC NewsTalk 1080.
Fan of WTIC? Then do us a favor. Download the free Odyssey app and favorite WTIC.
Yeah, as we proceed, as they say, to give you what you need, it's Reese on the radio on WTIC NewsTalk 1080. I just got some crazy news out of New York. My wife ran in here and told me about it. That involves Letitia James. Businesses have decided, we're done, we're out, and it was expected. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac have decided to close down their offices, and in their words, as they describe it, due to Letitia James's corruption, they are leaving the city. We'll get some more details on that and talk about it. I'm getting phone calls in the back behind the scenes, and I'm trying to work out this interview tomorrow with the head of the CIAC, and that is the governing body of It's Inter-Athletic Department for Connecticut. It's the Connecticut Inter-Athletic I guess. I'm forgetting the darn name. Don't get me started, I won't lie. But the CIAC is who they are. And unfortunately, I'm sorry, I thought the story was
dead.
It's
the Interscholastic.
Thank you.
Connecticut
Interscholastic.
Athletic Conference.
Right, the Connecticut Interscholastic Athletic what? Committee? Conference? Conference, okay. I'm blowing it. Anyway, I thought the story was over. Just when I tried to get out, they pulled me back into this story. We will talk to the head of the CAIC tomorrow because of the phone call I got today or a phone call I made, but a conversation I had with a young man today, which I still can't believe happened, because it wasn't even supposed to go down. I thought I was gathering information. I thought that there was an aspect to the story that I didn't understand. I thought this individual was going to tell me what that was. The conversation immediately went left. And then he started screaming and hollering at me. He began to call me names. And then he made some disparaging remarks about my mother.
What you say about my mama?
Yeah, I was really, caught off guard by that one. He went there. So I'll explain that during Negro Nonsense, so stand by for that. Back to the government shutdown. As I said, Democrats are really in a jam because they are trying to make their case that we are not trying to give health care to illegals. That was never our platform. And Jeanne Shaheen had the audacity to show up on Fox News' Fox and Friends this morning, talking to what's his name, Lawrence. Why am I forgetting Lawrence's last name? I don't really watch it that much. I like the show with Hemmer and Perino. But anyway, Lawrence was there, and apparently she didn't think Lawrence would be prepared for this, but he came with the sucker punch.
I haven't heard anybody in my party saying that illegal immigrants should get access to the health insurance marketplace.
Are you sure, Jeanne? You haven't heard any Democrats that wish to give illegal immigrants health care? Are you sure? Short memories we have.
I haven't heard anybody in my party saying that illegal immigrants should get access to the health insurance marketplace.
I'm so glad you said that. Actually, I have some tape of your Democratic Party members saying this on the debate stage. So they've all said it. Let's play the clip.
A lot of you have been talking tonight about these government health care plans that you proposed in one form or another. This is a show of hands question, and hold them up for a moment so people can see. Raise your hand if your government plan would provide coverage for undocumented immigrants.
Okay. Yay!
Senator, that's literally every member of your party, from moderate to more progressive, that have said.
Yeah. They all said absolutely, and now they're acting like that's not a stance of ours. That's not a position of ours ever. We don't believe in that. But I'll go one step further. If you want to make this look horrible, let's go to the place where more illegals live per capita than any other state. Let's go back to about 3 years ago in California and watch Governor Gavin Newsom talk about how he is going to provide health care for every American in his state, including undocumented people. And then do a 180 3 years later. Let's check it out. What's his, there he is, Gavin Newsom, 2022, not even 2023. Healthcare, 2022, healthcare, 2025.
The campaign on universal health care, we're delivering that. We are implementing our ideals. We are manifesting this principle, this fundamental notion that so many of us have been preaching for years and years and years. Universal health care for all, regardless of pre-existing condition, regardless of the ability to pay, and regardless of your immigration status. If you care not just about values and principles of morality, but if your only values and principles are advanced through economics, then that alone should be an argument in favor of universal health care.
Don't you care? Don't you care, America? If you care, we must spend. if you care about everybody, if you are the caring and nurturing and needing and wanting and caring, and needing and wanting, caring, more important than needing or wanting, but caring. You wear the pin, you go to the marches, you appreciate the ideas. If you are caring, you have no problem with being able to give this health care to everyone, no matter what their status is. Whether or not they come across the southern border, whether or not they come across the boat into our waterways, into San Diego, whether or not they fly in through parasailing or come from outer space. It doesn't matter what alien you are, you must be caring about that individual and give them universal health care. We may not even have the technology to care for such aliens, but whatever, you must care, don't you?
Pathway and a framework for 1.1 million undocumented residents in the state of California to avail themselves to high-quality, comprehensive medical care, long-term, short-term, preventative, as well as in-home support service.
He's not even talking about the emergency care that folks are talking about now. Just emergency stuff. You know, the guy gets a concussion. He falls off his bike. You know, somebody robs him when he's delivering your fast food. That kind of stuff. This guy, you know, the new leader of the Democrat Party, the guy who's a shoo-in as your candidate in 2028, he says no matter what, give them everything.
Care and coverage.
Now, Newsom says California is facing a $12 billion deficit.
What? What? $12 billion? The 2022 plan was only supposed to be $3 billion. That they could they could eat that. But it ballooned. I wonder why.
Governor is proposing freezing enrollment in state-funded health care for undocumented immigrants.
You know, when the program started, it was supposed to cost about $3 billion a year, and that ballooned to $11 billion last year. So the governor is freezing new entries into it and making those, or asking those people who are already in it to pay. Take a look.
Again, what did Newsom end up doing after telling everybody, don't you care? We can spend this $3 billion because you care. It ballooned to $11 billion in a matter of 3 years. $11 billion. Why? Because they found out it was for free, and everyone rushed to the emergency room or just rushed to the hospital. Yeah, you know, I got this toe jam that I've been trying to, you know what I mean? I got a hangnail. You know, I tried to take care of it at home, but I understand that you guys will subsidize that. People were showing up for everything.
We are moving forward with making decisions that not only address the concerns this year related to the $11.9 billion, but mindful that we need to tighten things up. We believe that people should have some skin in the game as it relates to contributions. So we are looking to a monthly premium. We are asking for something we ask all taxpayers of California.
What's that? You mean to pay for it? You're asking them to pay for it? I thought you must not care. Is that the problem, sir? You don't care enough to just give them free health care? What happened? What changed? Shouldn't we ask? We should ask. I don't think anybody's going to tell us. But you got to think about it, folks. Remember, it's not happening.
And you saw the Speaker of the House again saying that what Democrats want to do is provide health care for people who are undocumented. That is a big lie. And you are losing when you're lying.
Yeah, you're losing when you're lying.
In terms of health care, the reality is they're just not being honest. The amount of money that actually is going towards people who are undocumented is such a small portion of the Medicaid cuts or the Affordable Care Act, if at all. And so we can...
It's actually sad. But they're going to have to reopen the government. They're going to have to do it. And boy, when we come back, I am going to play you the supercut of supercuts of these Democrats saying exactly what everyone, even the President of the United States, is saying right now. And we're talking about not too long ago. And this supercut alone is going to make them cave. They'll wait until the weekend. They probably might come in as early as Monday, if not this weekend. It's quite likely we can have the whole thing done and over with by Friday. So when the news cycle's over, by the end of business on Friday, those 7 Democrats decide, hey, let's just sign off on this thing. Yeah. No, the newsrooms are closed. We'll come back Monday and nobody will be the wiser. Stand by. More news, more views, and probably the clip that captures it all when we return on WTIC News Talk 1080.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Now, remember, folks, it's important to note that we're not surprised by hypocrisy, at least not on a conservative side. We make this argument over and over and over again. It's at one point where we know that is the status quo with a lot of libs, especially progressives. But the White House is now doing what all of us have been doing before, and creating these folks and creating these videos, I should say, of the contradictions of people in power. The ones who are the most vocal today about standing firm on the government shutdown, who say that the government shutdown is the fault of the president. It's the Republicans' fault. That a government shutdown is bad and they should know better. But they are willing to stand firm on this. Why? Because, even though they're lying about it, they want illegals to get Medicaid care. That's all. So here's what the president released yesterday.
To hold these people hostage instead of just letting them do their jobs, which they want to do while we work out our differences, so wrong.
This is democracy. And in a democracy, hostage tactics are the last resort for those who can't win their fights through elections, can't win their fights in Congress, can't win their fights for the presidency, and can't win their fights in the courts.
A government shutdown of any duration would harm hardworking Americans and our economy.
Why should we ask TSA officers to go without their hard-earned pay while they protect our airports?
I'm a senator from Virginia. Some of the hardest effects of shutdown will be seen in my state.
If the government shuts down, it will be average Americans who suffer most.
Some who right now are trying to figure out how they're going to pay rent, how they're going to make mortgage payments, how they're going to keep college payments going, how they're going to keep the lights on, how they're going to keep food on the table.
Had the government shut down, hundreds of thousands of people would have not gotten their paychecks. Federal employees would have been furloughed, sent home.
Our military won't get paid. Head Start teachers won't get paid. Our wildfire fighters won't get paid.
That's Chris Murphy.
Federal prison guards won't get paid.
A government shutdown means seniors who rely on Social Security could be thrown into chaos. Our veterans could see regional VA offices shut down and support services put on hold.
Shutdowns are not good for the economy.
Shutdowns cost taxpayers billions of dollars per week.
Shutdowns cost the economy billions of dollars.
That's Chris Murphy.
They cost businesses money. They could even cause a downgrade to the nation's credit rating.
Families who benefit from WIC and other nutrition programs could see benefits halted.
Oh, no, not WIC.
This shutdown continues indefinitely. 39 million Americans will risk not having enough food. They will lose their SNAP benefits in February.
You ain't gonna be able to feed the babies.
So that means American children will be going to bed hungry.
Oh my God, they're gonna go to bed hungry. Oh man.
It's unacceptable.
The longer that this shutdown goes on, the more Americans it will be affected.
Critical services and our economy are being threatened with poison pill partisanship. Shutting down the government should not be a negotiating tactic.
Hostage taking is all they have left, a last gasp of those who cannot cope with the realities of our democracy.
They cannot cope with the realities of our democracy. Again, you don't need me to tell you. You don't. That's their words. That's their party. They're the ones that are keeping the babies from eating. Don't you have compassion? What about their poor paychecks? People are going to die. Aren't they? Isn't that what we're told all the time? Someone's going to die. If the president doesn't do this now, people will die. But the Democrats don't seem like they're going to be. We're not giving up our critical infrastructure of the Democrat Party demands that we stand up. Stand up then. Stand up. Explain to them how you will risk it all over Medicare for illegals. You're losing that fight. You keep calling it a lie, more and more evidence comes up. But let me say this. This is the most important part. And I was thinking about it last night as I was preparing for the show, as I usually do the night before, like where I'm going to go. And the thing that really, kind of irked me, but then made sense. It's like the Democrat Party doesn't expect their own constituents to look up the facts on this. It is in plain writing, as you saw Jake Tapper hand over to Hakeem Jeffries. This provision right here that you're trying to get repealed, right here, in your own documents. While Democrats are on TV saying it's a lie. Why are they doing that? Simple, because it happens here on this show. Their people, their constituents, their supporters are too lazy to look it up themselves. As I argue with a lot of people who try to debate me on this program. They come at me with these stories, half-assed, haven't been researched. They grab the first headline they see that supports what they already believe. And then when they get on this microphone, they get on these phones, and they talk to me, I completely chop it up into bits like I'm a sous chef. And they wonder how they failed. Because they're too lazy to do the work. And I don't know how many times I have to tell them, you are just following suit. You're just literally like goose stepping behind these morons who will lead you down that path and into these discussions. You're not fully armed. They don't care about you. If they cared about you, they'd at least tell you the truth. They would just go into the camera and go, yes, we're fighting for illegals to get health care. After we do the headlines, I've got documented proof of 3 states. We got to go. Let's go to the top of the hour news. John Silver's in the newsroom. It's Reese on the radio.
Reese on the radio, making sense of the news. Yeah, even when it makes no sense at all. Now on WTIC, News Talk 1080.
We'll get back to this because I have so many other visual aids and information to go into all of this, which I wish people would have recognized this ahead of time before this government shutdown began and before the argument even started. Because it's not like the state where all of this stuff is happening don't have it already on their websites. And many websites in the states that I'm going to be referring are now scrubbing it, even though they put it there. Undocumented people are all eligible for Medicaid. We'll show you and tell you some examples in a minute. Let's break down some news. Chris Murphy has raised millions this year, and he's giving some of it away. It's who he's giving it to that's suspicious. Now get this. After it was revealed that Murphy was fundraising to the tune of $10 million, you couldn't help but ask, what would he need all of that money for now? You might remember that NBC News reported last week that Murphy gave about $1 million to several organizations, including $100,000 to the Soros-funded Indivisible. We now have a list of other organizations he's donated to, and it looks like a presidential strategy, if you've ever seen one. 2 of the groups that he gave money to, they organize young people and urge them to vote. They're the Georgia Youth Justice Coalition for Action and Project 26 in Pennsylvania. He also donated to Down Home, North Carolina, which aims to build a multiracial movement for working people in rural North Carolina. Murphy has said that the group knows that it's working class people who will pay the price for Republicans' billionaire tax cut. And lastly, a group called, and I'm going to pronounce this poorly, so Wendy, you may have to help me, Reese Action, out of Wisconsin, a group that focuses in part on educating Latino voters. What is so interesting in those 4 states? They are swing states. And if he's donating to those organizations, he can get them to start his ground game there. They are not the first states where a Democrat a candidate would actually go to first. South Carolina would be the one. But if you start donating money to certain organizations that, of course, have to deal with voting, why would you do that? Swing states are important. That's how he's starting a ground game. So, in essence, it's a slush fund. The final order of removal against illegal immigrant and accused MS-13 gang member Kilmar Abrego Garcia will stand now after an immigration judge rejected a motion from his attorneys to reopen the case on Wednesday. In August, Abrego Garcia's attorneys had petitioned to reopen the case due to fears that he was at risk of imminent removal to Uganda, after the Department of Homeland Security notified them that he may get deported to the African country. He's going. And, Abrego, when you get there, say hello to Undugu for the rest of us. For those of you who know that reference, let me know in the chat room. Undugu. It takes a certain kind of person to remember who that is. I know Rama. Don't even text me, Rama. I know you're going to remember who that is. An alleged Sinaloa cartel leader admitted in an interview to CNN that President Trump's aggressive border policies have made the illegal work of the powerful Mexican gang more difficult. An anonymous member of the El Chapo's former gang explained that Trump's immigration and drug policies have put a damper on the black market tradecraft. In the interview, which the news station's senior national correspondent, David Culver, in the back of an SUV, he says, from killing to coordinated smuggling operations, do you think that what President Trump has been doing has been making your job tougher? The cartel member says, oh, yeah. He says he has made it difficult. What was CNN doing in this interview? Were they running out of people to talk to find out how Donald Trump's economy is affecting their business? And they went out on a limb and said, let's find out how the cartels. I mean, why would you do that? Like, would you actually log that report? President Trump is destroying the trafficking industry. News at 11. We talked to a Sinaloa cartel member to find out exactly how Donald Trump is ruining their industry. I'm sorry. I just don't know. I don't know why you would do that report. That technically should have been the stupidest thing, but I have something far better.
Yes, you do. Stupid as can be. This could very well be the stupidest person on the face of the earth.
This stupidest thing I read today deserves the ultimate of applause. Homeland Security Advisor Corin Lewandowski said in an interview that Immigration Customs Enforcement will attend next year's Super Bowl halftime show featuring Bad Bunny. Lewandowski appeared on the Benny Show, which is the Benny Johnson show, and said, this is my favorite, there is no way that you can provide a safe haven to the people in this country illegally. We will find you, we will apprehend you, and we will put you in a detention facility, and we will deport you. Lewandowski says that ICE will be present at the Super Bowl, of all things for them to be. Now, I don't really think, which would be quite bold, if an illegal immigrant actually purchased a ticket to go to the Super Bowl. Those seats ain't cheap, ladies and gentlemen. It just ain't cheap. But to at least, because everyone is talking about this Bad Bunny thing. I don't know why. I don't even care. Once they put Jay-Z in charge, it didn't matter. I looked at it as just watch the game, turn the halftime show to something else. I hear Turning Point USA might do their own halftime show, much like Living Color did back in the 90s, that they'll just do their own. And I think they were considering having Creed as their halftime show. So, you know, if you wish to turn to something, I'm almost certain, don't they have the Puppy Bowl every year, Roland?
I don't know nothing about that.
Oh, you don't know anything about the Puppy Bowl? Okay, so it's usually it's counter programming during the Super Bowl for people who don't like football. And so they do this every year. They have the counter programming are things like the Puppy Bowl. They've done Lingerie Bowl for people who don't like football. The other thing that they do is TBS or TNT will play football-like movies for those who do not want to watch the game because they have no skin in the game. So if your team's not playing and you don't want to watch the football game for that, you can watch other football-like programming. So they'll play, what's that? The Longest Yard, the Adam Sandler version. Or they'll play my favorite, my go-to, The Replacements. I love that movie. I don't know why, but I love it. I don't love it as much as I love Dodgeball, but I do love that movie, The Replacements. It's got a lot of quotable lines in that movie. But I will watch that instead if I don't want to watch the Super Bowl. But they always have that counter programming. You've never seen the Puppy Bowl? Yeah, it's adorable.
Yeah, I'm not into dogs.
Oh, really? Oh, you're not a dog person? Oh, I didn't know that. Are you a cat person?
I don't like animals.
Oh, you don't like animals? Wow. That's not cool. I like animals. I don't like wild animals. Puppies and cats. I mean, that's okay. Wendy, nobody is hating on Puerto Rican pride. It's okay for you to love Bad Bunny. I know he's your thing. A cross-dressing Puerto Rican who sings Spanish songs. I mean, I can understand why that's everybody's cup of tea. I'm kidding. I don't. Kathy says that Puppy Bowl is on before the Super Bowl on Animal Planet. Is it? It doesn't air during? Oh, they should put it on during. I said they are puppies that are up for adoption. I did not know that. Oh, then my wife can't watch that. She cannot watch that. Do they ship the puppies to you, or do you have to pay for shipping? And what kind of shipping do they do with puppies? That seems daunting. I don't know. That seems weird. Let's go to the phones. Tom is on the line. What's going on, sir?
Hey, just to clarify, I think the Puppy Bowl is on during the halftime.
I thought it was.
And, yeah, I think it is. And the Lingerie Bowl is technically football because it's women wearing lingerie playing football.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not campy. It's not like a bunch of girls hitting each other with pillows, right? It's real.
Yeah, I don't think it's on anymore, but yeah, it was funny.
No, it's on. I just watched it not too long. Maybe it was an old video, but I just watched some of it. Yeah, I just watched the game online the other day.
Oh, wow. Hey, another thing to clarify. I was wrong the other day when I said the military will get their pay. Technically, they won't, but when it's all said and done, everyone gets their back pay anyway.
Well, wait a minute. Hold on. You're not wrong, because Russ Vaught, and I think it was yesterday, the news said there were several outfits that said that they were going to pay everybody their last paycheck even after the shutdown began. So everybody will have a paycheck this week. It's about how long it lasts and whether or not next week will be. Right now, what's up for grabs is whether or not next week's paychecks will go, or next pay period's paychecks will go out. They were certain to make sure that all the paychecks for this current pay period, everybody got their money.
Yeah, through the end of September.
Right.
I think I used to get paid twice a month in the military.
Yep.
That's probably what they still do, but I don't know. But
no, I mean some people get paid monthly, I think. Or at least I know retireds do.
Maybe now. Yeah, maybe retires. But who knows?
Yeah.
I wish I got a pension from the Army, but that ain't happening. Hey, that superintendent that got found out, the illegal.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not hearing much. Fox News just mentioned it a little bit, but it blows the big con that illegals aren't voting. He was a registered to vote in Maryland.
Yes, and he voted several times.
Yeah. So anyone that says that illegals are not voting, it's such a bold-faced lie. It makes my blood boil.
Yeah, and you know what's the big argument that again, and here's the reason why it's not been reported, because Democrats' answer to that is they go, it's one guy. And I'm going, if it were one guy, remember, Kilmar Abrego Garcia was one guy. And they turned that into the plight of all illegals. But this guy gets caught, he got a driver's license. He becomes a superintendent, gets a six-figure salary. And their response is when they find out that he was illegally voting, it's just one guy, which again shows how disingenuous they are.
Yeah, and when they ship him to Uganda or wherever to live like a king, because he's been making $200,000 a year for how long?
I'm hoping, you know what? You're 100% right. If he is allowed to leave with whatever money he gained from that school district, he is going to live like a king should they send him to Uganda. Not so much for Kilmar Abrego Garcia. That guy was making, he was making pennies compared to what this Iowa guy was making. His story is this. I don't think we're going to hear much about it because it's just one guy and they caught him and it's over. Plus, there's not a lot of people pleading for his return because he duped so many people, even those on the left. He duped them too. So they've got egg on their face and they are kind of like, you can't really defend when you look like a moron.
Yeah, it makes them look bad.
Exactly. So they're going to let him go. They're going to be like, you duped us and you got busted. Sayonara, homie. That's the way it goes. Thank you, Tom. I appreciate you. Let's get Georgie in here real quick before we go. What's up, George?
Hi, Ross. Look, we're right back where we started, even after they come back from the shutdown.
Right.
You're still $37 trillion plus $1.5 more trillion added to the deficit. The point I'm making is switch the federal government to a revenue generating company. That we've got $100 trillion in oil and gas revenues we could use. If the government has to get in the airline business and buy airlines, they should do that. They should buy stock. They should operate like any corporation. We have Trump in there now. We can start the federal corporation and start generating revenue.
They're giving him hell for that, George. With the we have like a 10% stake in that hardware company. Why am I forgetting the name of it right now?
Well, yeah, you got to think outside the box now. You're right back where you started, even after the government shutdown is over. You're still heavily in debt.
Yeah.
So like I said, turn the government into a revenue generator, not taxes, because they blow every cent in taxes.
That's it. You're 100% right, and that's it's insane that these programs that they don't want to lose, every time we find out what they are, They're just bloat. It's not even.
Reese, they can get in the AI business alone.
Yes.
They can sell medical information. They can sell legal information. They can sell when you go to you have to pay for a degree, right?
Yep.
That's information. The government try to go in the information business. That's just one example.
You know what? And again, information today is as easy to get. In fact, it's easier to get information or to learn things today online than it ever is to get into an institution.
Depending on what it is, it's worth a lot.
Oh, absolutely.
It's AI.
Yeah, without a doubt. Thank you, Georgia. I appreciate you, man. We're going to take a break. When we come back, more news, more views. And we're going to talk to you about William Tong, who's finally on the right side of an issue. It's an issue we talked about last week and the Connecticut River. He actually did something for the benefit of Connecticut. And if you haven't heard it, you're going to be as surprised as I was when I heard about it. Yeah, William Tong. I am actually going to praise his name. William, what happened? I'd love to talk to the guy. Not that he would ever come on the show. But he's the only one who actually seems to care about the environment. Unless there's some money in it. Maybe that's the problem. All right, we'll figure all that out. All right, stick around. More news, more views. We've got our Between Rounds winner coming up, as well as we got Hollywood news, we got Negro nonsense, and a whole bunch of other stuff when we return. Plus, I got to tease a guest that we're going to have on the program tomorrow from the CIAS, or CAIS, right? CIAS, right? Yeah.
CIAC.
CIAC, whatever. I have it right by the time the show's over. We'll talk to you about that when we return. Stand by. That Baker story, for some odd reason, has legs for all the wrong reasons. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Hey. Whoa. Let's not put all 100 candles on the cake. It'll ruin the frosting and probably set the place on fire. And there's expensive radio equipment in here, too.
We're back, Reese on the radio, and thank you folks so much, always, for checking out the program. Back to the original topic of the day about the government shutdown and the debate about whether or not illegals are receiving Medicaid. We have some documented evidence that it's true, and we went through the list of states. And remember, each state is subsidized with federal dollars. What the state does with that is their own business, yes. But if the states are offering that money, or if it's being allowed to use federal money to subsidize illegals' medical costs, they will do it. Some states won't. Here's a few that do. As I've already played with Gavin Newsom, California, undocumented children, 0 to 18 years old, pregnant women, all low-income undocumented adults. The coverage details is full Medi-Cal benefits, children and pregnant women regardless of status. Expansion to non-pregnant adults ages 19 to 59. That begins on July 1st of 2027. In Colorado, undocumented children, 0 to 18. Low-income, undocumented adults, also on that list. This is what the coverage covers. Full Health First Colorado, Medicaid, for children, subsidized data, private plans. Omni Salud, I don't know what that is, and for adults via state funds. In Illinois, undocumented children, 0 to 18, pregnant women, undocumented adults, seniors between the age of 42 and 64, plus 65 and up. That's full medical assistance for children and pregnant coverage for adults 42 to 64. This is full coverage. Massachusetts, illegals between the ages of 0 and 18, pregnant women, low-income undocumented adults. This is through Mass Health Standard or the Common Health for children, pregnant and adults, meeting income rules regardless of status. Minnesota, undocumented children, 0 to 18, pregnant women, all low income. You see a pattern here? Do you see a pattern here? New York, 0 to 18, pregnant women, undocumented seniors, 65 and older. Here, we even got a screenshot for those of you who are watching online. Here's New York healthcare plan, the new health insurance option for undocumented immigrants over 65. It reads that it says, starting January 1st, 2024, there is a new option for health insurance available for undocumented immigrants over the age of 65. That's on their own website. In Oregon, undocumented individuals, any age, full expansion. Rhode Island's on the list. Undocumented children, 0 to 18, including DACA and pregnant women. Here's a screenshot of theirs website. Says it right there, including children who are undocumented and DACA on their own website. The Rhode Island Medicaid program, health insurance for you and your family. Saying that it isn't there is nonsense. Here's North Carolina. They don't advertise it, but it's on their page. Emergency Medicaid. If you cannot get full health coverage through North Carolina Medicaid and are not a U.S. citizen, you may be able to get emergency Medicaid. Anyone can apply for emergency Medicaid, no matter their immigration status. They only need to meet the regular Medicaid rules, like age and income requirements. So this nonsense that nobody's on it, nobody who's illegal or undocumented is over, is nonsense. And what happens is that the one big beautiful bill eliminates it. They want it back. And the reason why they want it back is because this is valuable to them. This is very valuable to them. We got to keep them healthy. We got to say we're doing something for them. They can't get them any money anymore, but we can get them Medicaid benefits. I don't know how anybody can look at this and say, I don't know what you're talking about, Reese. I don't think anybody can look at this and say that it isn't a fact. I got people in the chat room saying to me that if Jesus were alive today, he'd be upset with me. Really? Jesus? Jesus would be mad at me? Is that how low we're going now? Jesus? Hey, Roland, do you know? Jesus would not be. He wouldn't be happy with you today.
That's not true.
Who does that? I mean, that is the rantings of a child. What would Jesus say that you were behaving? I mean, come on. I almost feel like that's desperate. Like, how desperate can you be for you to say something like that to me? It's absolutely horrible. Anyway, I just wanted to reiterate that. You know what? Let me take Chip. I don't think it. Did I get Chip yesterday? Chip, did we get you yesterday?
No, I haven't spoken to you.
No, he didn't call.
I know. I know he was on the phone lines. I just didn't get to him in time. I knew I saw his name there, but I didn't get to him in time. What's going on, Chip?
Reese, I call you Professor Reese for a reason, and I do, because you're my mentor. You're my go-to guy with what you're talking about. And you know something? I said this to you probably months ago with the illegal immigrants getting this, getting that, and free. And Reese, I'll try and put a little different spin on it. You, me, or any other person try going to another country, not only expecting but demanding, like, and I'm 64. I look good, though. I'm not bragging. I'm just saying.
I hear you.
I look pretty good for an OG.
I hear you.
But my whole life, and I'm still working. I'm retired. Been retired for several years now. Mm-hmm. I work part-time, and I worked my butt off for like my insurance.
Sure.
You get Medicare A, B, C, D, H, G, A. I don't know what the heck it is. But I'll do the whole health. But my point is. But my question for you, Professor Reese, seriously, and your listeners, is this? And I think I'm right. Is this like a political thing? In other words, like the Democrats, from what I'm hearing and watching on the Real News, Fox. That's what I call it, Real News, Fox News. And Chucky Schumer, they're saying he's really responsible, like for the government shutdown. I know
it is. Look, let me go a little further than what Fox News is saying and a lot of the political pundits are saying. They are making this about Chuck Schumer and AOC because they're saying that Chuck Schumer is in control and he's keeping Democrats at bay because if he doesn't, AOC has a control of the progressive wing that will allow her to unseat him in 2028. Now, let's be absolutely honest. We're talking about Democrats here who have a very short memory. Because if they had a long one, they would remember that it was just a couple of years ago they were against a government shutdown that they seem to be all in for today, right? So in 2020,
that's what I don't understand, though.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I say don't pay attention to that. That's a talking point or a news item that they're trying to build off of. It's got nothing to do with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez will be one of the first people to throw her hat in 2028 because she will, one, be eligible, and she's got the clear popularity. They've got no bench, so she has to run. She's no threat to Chuck Schumer. None. Here's where the problem is. Yeah, Democrats are losing at everything. Their gains are minimal. And when I say their gains are minimal, yes, are they getting coverage of protests? Are they getting coverage of these folks who are protesting ICE? Are they getting favorable coverage when they burn down Teslas? Sure they are. But guess what? The polling data shows that their credibility and their, let's just say their base is not really seeing them as a powerful force. Only 34% of Democrats see them as strong leaders. That means that they're losing. This is one of those arguments or debates where if they hold or they stand up to Donald Trump, that maybe they'll bolster their numbers. They're not understanding that there are consequences for their actions in this. And they also haven't considered this. They think that everything is measured by their hatred of Trump and MAGA Republicans. What they don't realize is that everything that they try backfires on them because Trump has already set something up for them to sort of fall. He's setting a trap because they become so predictable. And when you know what you're going to, remember, everything that they're doing is a response to Trump. Not one of them have been proactive in their actions. Like nothing they've done has been, Democrats are now debating this, that, and the third, and the media's champion behind them. Everything they and the news media do, but then again, I repeat myself, they keep responding to Donald Trump doing something. Donald Trump puts out the meme with the sombrero with Hakeem Jeffries.
Yeah.
He goes out there and he calls it racist. Then the news media follows suit and they call it racist. What does Trump do? He doubles down on it. And then Erin Collins, whatever her name is, not Erin Collins, Caitlin Collins, comes on her program and says, I don't think they care. And the truth is, they don't. They don't care. And when you call it something, they'll double down on it.
And don't forget about the fake eyelashes. I'm not hating on Jasmine Crockett, but she is so arrogant, Reese. Again, I joke with you a lot, but I'm learning more and more.
But you should look at it this way. I'll go this way, Chip, before I let you go. Here's the way I would look at it, right? With everything that the Democrats have been able to get airtime for everything that's being covered in the news about their outrage, how is it that their numbers can't get above 29%? How is it?
You're the man. You're a professor.
Exactly. And the reason why is because Donald Trump owns the narrative They're just responding to it.
I love my father, Trump. Can I say one last thing?
Real quick.
Okay. Are the politicians and the senators like Chucky and are they getting paid with the government shutdown or no?
Oh, you damn well right they're getting paid. Come on. Those guys will never miss a paycheck. No. They'll never.
You know what?
They'll never miss a paycheck.
I was going to set up a GoFundMe for the senators, but that not passed now.
You're good, buddy. Have a good one.
All right, Reese.
You got it. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back. We got weather and traffic coming up with Mark Christopher and John Ferrick, who's filling in for Bob Larson when we return. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
We're back. People, Wendy's asking me in the chat room, who talked about your mama? I don't know who the guy is. I just know he said something disparaging about my mama. I'll tell you in a minute.
What you say about my mama?
I couldn't believe that he did it. I was like, that's an awkward thing to say in the middle of a professional conversation. It was just really, really bad. It was really, really, really bad. I just got some word on Greta Thunberg. Climate activist Greta Thunberg has been removed from the steering committee of the Global Summoned Flotilla due to ongoing disputes. If you've been paying attention to that, you know she's been on these flotillas going into Gaza or into Israel, and they've kicked her off of it, probably because she's getting more attention than the group is. And it makes sense to me. She's kind of taken all of the, like all of the oxygen out of the room. So she's no longer there. Also, in Negro Nonsense, we'll talk about what Yale is doing. They're reporting in the in Yale News that they're changing African American studies. And I guess they're changing the whole department. We'll talk about that as well. Yes, that Greta is funded directly by Hamas. Is she? I got to be honest with you. I stopped paying attention to her after the "How dare you" thing. Like after that, I thought she was hilarious when I saw that. When she leans in and is like, "How dare you?" I lost it. I was like, "Who is this kid?" And that was the most I ever followed her. And then, she was going into all these climate fun things and climate activist programs. And then somebody told me, can I be honest? This is what bothered me. And I don't know if there's any truth. I'm sure some people will tell me in the chat room and send me messages about this. Not that I really want to know, but I'm sure you will. I'm not going to discourage you from sending it. So I do understand that she is on the spectrum. And I'm not saying that to poke fun at her. But I do remember a report that she was very much handled by her father and another individual, that they were, in essence, the brains behind her fame, that they were the ones in charge of her Twitter account and her social media stuff, and kind of just putting her out there as this teenager, castigating the fossil fuel industry. Hence the, "How dare you destroy my future?" All that nonsense. So I heard that that's what it was about. Mike, I can't read that. Even if she does. I don't know if she is. I'm under the impression she is. Let's get a first check of weather and traffic. Talk about saved by the traffic. Let's get to it. Weather's with John Ferrick today. Mark Christopher, he's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Reese.
It's Reese on the radio. And don't say we didn't warn you on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, we are back, and we got some traffic coming up in a minute. We'll talk about that, but let's do the thing.
Savory, flavory, bagel, deli, and bakery. Between rounds.
And congratulations goes out to Sean K. in Killingly He is today's winner of the Between Rounds Dozen Bagels a Month for 6 months, courtesy of Between Rounds, the Bagel Bakery and Sandwich Cafe, located in South Windsor, Vernon, and Manchester. Now, if you want to win, you got to, of course, go to resellerradio.com. You got to fill out all of the documentation. Now, what is the thing that we're going through without sort of having given away any inside baseball stuff, Roland? They get an email once they've won, which, again, you send them out. They immediately get an email, and they've got to fill that out. Is that correct?
It's not any. They're not filling out anything. It's a consent form.
Okay, so
saying, I want to accept this prize. You
Right.
have to send that back first.
Okay, and that, in some cases, if it doesn't show up in your regular mail, you should check your spam folder. And I do, by the way, I inform you before we ever announce it that you've won. I always let everybody know in the morning. So when you get my email, wait for the second one, which usually happens about 11, 12 o'clock or sometime during the day. Then check once your name has been. If you got an email from me, you should be looking for that email in your spam folder for your consent. So those are the two things that you should be looking out for. Make sure that you get that consent so that it goes through. We've had some, not a lot, but some people, I would say it's at least maybe 2 to 3% of people who miss that little portion of it. So, just be careful and realize that if you haven't seen that other form, of course, get in touch with me. You'll have my email address, and I send it to you. And everybody who sent it to me, we've actually fixed. So those are the things that you need to remember. So I want to make sure that we do. But like I said, if you want to win, you got to go to resellerradio.com. That's REESE on the radio.com. Fill out the form. Make sure you give your birthday. Make sure you give your telephone number. And also, you must live in the state of Connecticut, and you cannot have won within the last 6 months. So when we enter your name, that's it. You're in, and you can then try again 6 months later. If you haven't won lately, and you've already put in, you haven't been, and you might be sort of far down the list, apply again so I can get an opportunity to see you. But you got to go to resellerradio.com in order to do that. Check out the other stuff that's there. Substack is there. You can read some of the articles that I've done if you haven't. And you can also check out this show and plenty of other stuff. I mean, we're talking about like 700 hours of Reese on the radio. I know a guy who was listening to the stuff all the way in Turkey. Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. I've got people listening to you and me all over the globe. Australia's blowing up right now.
Wow.
I couldn't believe it.
My stepdaughter lived in Australia for about 3 years.
Mine too.
Yeah.
Yeah, she got married out there.
She was in school. She was going into her senior year, and she studied abroad for a year, and she was supposed to come back like in June, and it was like August. We're like, Meg, you got to get home to finish your senior year.
Well,
we played a lot of money here. You got to finish this off here.
Mine went there to actually to work as teaching kids English as a second language, and people going, it's Australia. I'm like, they have foreigners there too. And
absolutely.
she met her husband there. And
wow,
they got married. Yeah. Well, they're divorced. It doesn't not all that great of a story.
Well, my stepdaughter lived in Tasmania. So
wow.
She loved it there.
Wow.
She loved it. She didn't want to leave.
Yeah, I hear that.
Come home. I said, Meg, you got to come home and finish this. You got your senior year to do here. So she finally came home, thank goodness, and finished up. Hey,
it's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Yeah. It's just one of them days. Just one of those days. Who am I kidding? It's Thursday.
Negro nonsense. Negro nonsense. Negro nonsense.
I'm sorry. That was the wrong one. I cannot believe that I didn't play the right one. Let's try it again.
Negro nonsense.
How dare you?
Negro nonsense.
How dare you?
Negro nonsense.
How dare you?
So yesterday I started off the program by talking about this deal with Windsor High School. And the reason why I was so dismayed by what took place there was that I was under the impression that a good guy was trying to do something good for the kids at a high school. and you hear a story like that, and you want to help. I'm the type of person where I hear a person's story, and I'm listening to it, and it seems like, okay, the guy seems like good faith. I'm taking him at his word, listening to what he had to say. And some things struck me as odd. I'm just kind of using my common sense, but I'm listening. I didn't immediately dismiss him. I didn't, charge at him. I was like, but wait, this doesn't sound right. Why are you doing this? I didn't. I just listened. And I said to him, look, if there's anything, let's see if we can schedule something for Wednesday. But you know what? I got to do my job, and I got to talk to the people at the school, get their side of the story. Once I do that, I'll get back in touch with you. Then we'll hash everything out from what I've been able to get or gather from the opposite side, talk to you off the air, and sort of break down, okay, they told me this doesn't seem right, you told me that. Let's hash that out before we get on the air. I don't want you looking like a fool. Damn sure don't want me looking like a fool. And I don't want to mischaracterize the stance of the school, the people you have the problem with. Nor do I want to have a problem with the coach that you appear to have a problem with. Now, again, I'm not going to suggest what Mr. Baker said about the coach. I'm not even going to tell. But I couldn't and wouldn't say that anyway. I would bring that to the coach and say, this is what you've been accused of. That you are not doing this, not doing that, but are doing this, that, and the third. What's your response? That's the way I would deal with it. It's unsubstantiated hearing it from the person who is the plaintiff, so to speak. I'm using that term loosely. So then I have a phone call with someone who is close to all of it, and then I get the information directly from the superintendent of schools that Windsor is associated with, and then I did yesterday's opening monologue. I do that monologue, I break the whole thing down. What the Connecticut Interscholastic Athletic Conference said, who they are, them being a governing body of anyone who volunteers or works as it associates with children, especially in the football field. Okay? I laid that out. What I didn't like was that none of that information was told to me. And then when I tried to have a conversation about that information, what I got was a bunch of bull. Whatever was going on in 2021 and 2023 does not stand in 2025. That's the most important thing. I can't hash out 2021 and 2023. And from what I understand, the person whom Mr. Baker was dealing with no longer works in the school district. So there's a new sheriff in town. Rules apply, and they are following the letter of the law. And they are within their rights to tell anyone you can't be here volunteering with these children without the expressed consent of the Connecticut Interscholastic Athletic Conference and the school. They have rules themselves. They went on to say other things that, again, I am not repeating because, again, my objective is not to disparage Mr. Baker. My only grievance is with the fact that what he said to me was a lie. And again, like I said, I am here to help you, but I'm not here to help you lie. And what I was told were lies. And that was the school is not forwarding game film of these athletes to the schools. That is categorically untrue. It is a fact that they are doing that. This is a football program. Parents came to me. They told me. Parents who've played against the team have spoken to me and told me, this is not a football team. This is a program. Now, for those of you who don't understand that terminology, what that means is that they really invest in this school. It's so good at what it does, it puts all of its eggs in that basket. The kids more than likely will end up in a D1 program, and that D1 program will more than likely advance those kids to the NFL. And Windsor High School has the trophies. They have the memorabilia. They have the professional jerseys, even Mr. Baker's, inside their school. They celebrate their kids who make it to the NFL through this program. That's who they are. And it is irrefutable. No one can argue with what I said in my opening monologue yesterday about this. I'm repeating it today off the top of my head, as was yesterday's monologue. It was based on all the information that I'd gathered. Then I got a phone call. No, it wasn't really a phone call. I got a message on Facebook. An individual by the name of Malik O. I will not give his last name. But he is quite popular. And he is well known to the Connecticut Interscholastic Athletic Conference. They know who he is. And I will have a conversation with Glenn Lungarini, who is the executive director of the Connecticut Interscholastic Athletic Conference, tomorrow, to discuss my conversation with Mr. Malik O., who at first tried to suggest to me that there is no such thing as the Connecticut Interscholastic Athletic Conference. Suggested to me that the rightful owner of the Connecticut Interscholastic Athletic Conference is Malik O. And they have no say-so as to where Mr. Baker can work inside that school. The school has no jurisdiction to stop Mr. Baker, nor does the CIAS. I'm sorry, what was that? No, you're cutting off.
CIAC.
What did I say? CIAC? Oh, CIAC. Goodness gracious. Thank you. CIAC. Why did I say CIAS? I have no idea. Thank you. CIAC. My apologies. And anyway, so that they don't exist, that they don't govern anything, according to Malik O. So we did a little bit of research. We found out that Malik O is indeed online saying that he is the Connecticut Interscholastic Athletic Conference. Interesting. Glenn Lungarini disputes that, and in fact, has done so legally. But let me get to the phone call. So after I get this mention that you don't know the true story, I listened to your program, I said, okay, fine. I start the conversation by saying, what do you got? What did I miss? Well, Mr. Malik began to tell me that I defamed his friend, or the way at least he described it, his client. That what I said about him was a lie. Interesting. And then went on to say what I've already revealed. That the CIAC doesn't exist. They have no right to tell him that he can't be there. That the school is lying about the CIAC and what it is that they are allowed to govern at the school. So I asked who's in charge of governing what people can and cannot do on their grounds. He went on to tell me nobody. I said, really? The school can't even say who can be on their property? They have no right, he said. So then I knew I was in a dark place. I knew I was dealing with someone who clearly didn't know what they were talking about. And so I asked him one question that threw everything off the rails. So are you telling me that Mr. Baker can go into the locker room of the school, be on the field, and communicate with players outside of the coaches and the administration's advice? He said, no, but. And I went, well, let's make sure we get this right. Did you hear my question? He began to get irate, started raising his voice. And I said, I don't know who you're yelling at, and I don't care what your beef is. But if this is a professional conversation, you need to calm down. I'm trying to get to the bottom of this. Well, you won't let me speak. And I'm going to answer my question. Who can tell Mr. Baker what and what not to do? You're telling me no one can? The school doesn't have any rights? He could do whatever he wants. He starts screaming and hollering and blah, 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 blah. It gets worse and worse and worse. And then the entire conversation becomes ghetto. And when I say ghetto, he starts referring to me as a Sambu. Not Sambo, a Sambu. And then I knew what I was dealing with. He didn't even know how to pronounce the right racial slur. I'm surprised he got the N-word right, but he did. He called me a house N-word and everything under the sun because he didn't like my reporting on the story. He went on to go, Mr. Baker has done more things for this community than you've done in your entire life. Okay, I guess so. You don't know me from a hole in the ground. Yesterday was probably the first time you've ever listened to my program, but you know everything about what I've ever done in my life. Okay, whatever, that's no problem. And I said, sir, what are you trying to accomplish here? I mean, what is all of this supposed to accomplish? Isn't this guy a friend of yours? Do you think that this is productive? I don't care. And he went on to fire a bunch of F-bombs at me and this and that. And then I said, okay, so what do we do now? And he then says, I'm going to go and blank your mother, he says. Which made me open up my eyes and go, that's interesting. I didn't know that he would be into 76-year-olds, but whatever. I mean, that's his kink. That's, I can deal with that. I mean, but it was going off the rails, and then it was Sambu and House Negro and Sambu. It went on and on and on and on and on, and I went, I don't really have to take this phone call, but I'm just trying to get to the bottom of what's going on, and he just didn't want to address that. He wanted to continue to insult me. And so I then told him, good luck on your press conference. I hope it works out for you. I don't think that you guys are going to get very far. But if you're the type of people who are representing him, Mr. Baker has horrible representation. Now, I know the young man is listening now, and I don't know anything about him. But let me make one thing abundantly clear. I hope you don't think that you intimidated anybody with that nonsense. You only have one option because you're a petty thug. You're a savage. Make sure you heard me because I know you're looking in my face right now. You're a savage. And I know how savages behave. So I'll be expecting you. Otherwise, you'll run and hide and stay in your little hole in New York. Don't come up to Connecticut. Run and hide. Because I'm going to do a lot of exposing of you. I'm being nice today, but if I were you, I'd stay in hiding. And it ain't about what you said about my mama. It's the audacity to talk to me like you think you were going to intimidate somebody. I told you, I await the hate. I beg for it.
Stay locked in. Reese on the radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Let me see. I've got to get into this. William Tong joining the fray about sewage. You might remember I talked about that last week. We've got that story also coming up. A new report out of our friends from the Connecticut Inside Investigator about the use of state vehicles that have been abused. We got to talk about that because that story is crazy. You already know about the story about that kid who used one car to go everywhere from like the Dave Matthews. By the way, okay, I'm not, because I know I'm going to alienate a couple of people if I even say it. But he took the company car to a Dave Matthews Band concert. I don't want to start. I don't want to go down that road because some people are going to be offended if I say it. So I'm not going to say it. Anyway, so that happened, and there was a whole bunch of other abuse that happened with the state vehicles. We've got that story coming up as well. Don't forget, we've also got this scandal with a bunch of state money that went to all of these businesses and other these nonprofits, and it turns out that there was money going here, there, and everywhere. We've got to break that down as well. And it's I don't know. I've got a whole bunch of stuff to get into before we get out of here. Oh yes, the Netflix scandal. Got to talk about that as well, with people who are jumping ship from Netflix. If you haven't heard that story, we'll break that down for you in Hollywood News coming up. Someone in the chat room says, Reese can say whatever he wants, but it does not seem that calling a segment of your show Negro Nonsense is 2025 is somewhat backwards. And also said that no one who calls the show is black. Now, Bob, I only say this because, and maybe I should do this for Bob's own good. See, Bob only shows up on Thursday for Negro Nonsense so that he can complain about it. It's appointment oppression for Bob. So Bob is sitting around through his entire day. Hey, John. Hey, John, how are you? Hey, I'm doing great. Going to work, having a good time. And then Thursday comes around and he wakes up and he goes, it's Thursday. Reese is doing Negro Nonsense. Okay, got to set my calendar and alarm clock. So then he could come on the program and be aggrieved and then go into the chat room and say, I can't believe you do it. Do you know that's the reason why Greta saying, how dare you? That's an homage. That is for Bob. How dare you? That's Bob. It's not Greta. Let's get another check of weather and traffic. Mark Christopher. He's in the BBS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
The NAACP calls him, whoa, I don't think I'm allowed to read this. It's Reese on the radio. Let's just say some people are not fans. On News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, let's get into some phones while we're at it. Dave is in Windsor. How are you, sir?
I'm good, Reese.
What's up?
Good. Hey, earlier you were talking about the Medicaid laws.
Yeah.
You were reading from different states, right?
Yes.
When some of this debate was going on in Connecticut, I looked into it a bit, and those benefits, those state laws that you cited in Rhode Island and North Carolina and Minnesota, those Medicaid programs are not funded by the federal government. And as a matter of fact, there was a law passed in 1996 called the Personal Responsibility and Work Opportunity Act.
Okay.
That established that undocumented immigrants are ineligible for most federal benefits, including full Medicaid coverage. Now, nobody repealed that law.
Okay.
Those laws are funded by taxpayers, but they're funded by state taxpayers.
Okay. No. I'm not even going to dispute what you just said. I'm only going to ask one question, and then we can clarify whether either I'm wrong or I'm right on this issue. Okay? Does the state get federal dollars towards Medicaid? Any state, yes or no?
They do.
Okay.
But here's the rub.
Okay.
While some states use their own funds, Medicaid, the federal law requires that the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services has oversight to ensure that the federal Medicaid dollars are not improperly used for those unauthorized immigrants.
And you would call that an exchange under that circumstance, right? Like, in other words, if it was, let's say I had the state of Reese and I had what's called a Medicaid program for illegals, I would call it Reese Aid. But it has no federal dollars involved in it, just state taxpayers' dollars. Is that what you're suggesting?
No, I'm not suggesting it. That's what the law says.
Actually, you're wrong. I looked into it. No, you're 100% wrong. I'll put it to you this way. It's like water in a pool coming from the state and coming from the federal government. It's just a pool of money. It's like how Planned Parenthood never, ever shows its books because they never tell you exactly what the money that they get from the federal government is used. They never show it. They don't have to. It's the same thing with Medicaid. The state, and I've looked at the numbers. some of the funding that goes into Medicaid from the federal government is almost 90% of the money that the state gets from the federal government. There's also other things that goes in as far as Medicaid is concerned. There's ACA funding, and that's the Affordable Care Act. That money is all federal. You want to know how much of that is in the coffers of the state? In some cases, up to 90%. I checked them. I checked all of them.
That could be true.
Oh, no, it is true.
It probably is true, okay? But that money cannot be used for the programs for illegal immigrants.
How do you audit that?
Well, they have the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services, and I'm sure Trump has plenty of auditors that audit these things.
He does have plenty of auditors. But the law, this is what I'm suggesting to you. So what Donald Trump did in the big, beautiful bill was to carve that out so you couldn't even wiggle room your way into giving those dollars, federal or otherwise, to those people. And it doesn't matter whether or not they're DACA kids. It doesn't matter whether or not they're parolees, whether or not they don't, they have a status to stay in the country, even though they're undocumented. What the big, beautiful bill said not a dime goes to any of them. The thing that they claimed that was actually happening. And what turns out is, and that's what I'm saying, you got to look at the way in which the Democrats are framing this. They're saying, well, does it say that other programs can give it to people who have status to stay or anything like that? It's like, yeah, but those aren't illegals. No, yes, they are. They're just temporary stays. That money is going to people who are undocumented. And undocumented, by any definition, is illegal. Regardless of this idea that they're permitted to stay, they're still illegals. And the worst part about it is this part about the audit that you tried to dispute. Yes, the government does have the audit, but here's the problem. Ask the state to give a number of how much of the money has actually gone to illegals, and guess what they'll tell you? We don't have those numbers because we don't ask.
Well, I can't speak to what the audits show, to be honest with you.
I know.
But,
no one can because they won't give it to them. They won't give it to us.
Deciding what the law says, and it's currently written in the law, and that those programs that you mentioned that are coming up in 27 or whatever the dates are, that these states are going to implement, and that money is supposed to be state money only.
Yeah, but you notice that money is going to the hospital and not to the patient?
It doesn't matter. It can't. The only way hospitals can treat is if it's an emergency, and that's required by law also.
Okay, so emergency aid has to be paid for, right?
It has to be, but for anybody.
But exactly, it has to be paid for by. Now, look, let's say you don't have, you only give Medicaid to an average citizen, right? You give it to a documented American citizen. That is the only money it's going to. Let's say we get the actual law to perform the way it was always drawn out to be. And the illegals are going into the hospital. Pregnant illegal comes into the hospital to have birth. Now, the hospital cannot turn her away if she's giving birth. They bring her, of course, into the emergency room or get into the paternity room, and she will have the baby, and they will give her, put the baby in an ICU, a bin if it's needed, or give them all the care and that whole 9 yards, and she'll stay in the hospital for days until she's allowed to leave and the baby's healthy and they're all healthy. They can send her a bill that she eventually will not pay. It doesn't matter if Medicaid never goes to her. Guess how the hospital, and you know this, how does the hospital?
Listen, I'm not disputing that.
Okay.
And what's going to happen as the big beautiful bill kicks in and premiums go up and people that can't afford to afford health insurance right now without the subsidies that are coming.
What helps? What subsidies? Wait. What health care will they not be able to afford? What's the name of it?
Well, the credits, the tax credits that came through on the Affordable Care Act.
Yeah, there you go.
And say the premiums go up. Now they're not going to be able to pay the premiums, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what's going to happen? They're going to go to the hospital to be treated, and they're going to be treated.
Who's going to go to the hospital and be treated?
It's people that can't afford health insurance right now.
Well,
that aren't going to be able to afford health insurance. They'll end up going to the hospital to get treated, just like they do now.
Yes. No, nothing. I don't think anything changes. I don't think anything changes at all. But I think the problem was, and look, let's use the California model. Here's a program that they had doled out, and as far as Gavin Newsom, he was so brilliant and said, look, this is only going to cost $3 billion to make sure that we give affordable health care to every person in the state, even undocumented people. And when you tell people that it's free, what happens? Everybody comes. And it ends up ballooning into close to $12 billion in 3 years. It ballooned to $12 million, quadrupled. And what did he say immediately afterwards? It's unsustainable. That's the problem. And I'll even use those states, as you started this conversation about, right? Those states, they're not using federal funds. They're only using state funds. Well, here's my question to you, if that's the case. What happens when the Medicaid for just the state funds runs out? Does that federal money just sit there because we got to make sure we don't give them to illegals, or do they use it?
No, what's going to happen is the taxes are going to go up, or insurance premiums are going to go up. The hospitals are going to be covered somehow.
But what I'm saying, what happens to the money that the federal government gave that is not allowed? Because remember what you're saying here. You're saying that federal money
it's not allowed. It comes out of the
okay,
state.
I'm just saying, the federal money is sitting there in the coffers. Everybody else is covered through the state funds. What happens with the federal money? It goes where?
The federal money is only matched when they put the bills in. I mean, the federal money isn't just granted.
No, I agree with you. But my argument is this, and maybe I'm not being as plain Jane as I need to be. So what I'm suggesting to you is this. Every state is allocated a certain amount of money based upon the people who have Medicare coverage in the state. The state already knows, or the federal government already knows who's on Medicaid. But if you
it's based on income. So
right, exactly.
People in Alabama or Mississippi are getting more money in Louisiana.
Exactly. Exactly. So they are meeting the need of people who are on Medicaid. They know if you are giving that Medicaid option to illegals, those people are not on the rolls, right? Those people cannot be identified. They're undocumented. So that extra money is going to end up going to those folks. If those folks have freebies, if those folks have the ability to use that, who, by the way, every hospital will tell you, every clinic will tell you who uses that Medicaid benefit more than anyone else. And they will tell you cost overruns are implemented because of the use by illegals. Every hospital will tell you that.
You know what? I don't know. I haven't read that.
Okay.
I don't believe that it's the majority, but I could be wrong.
Oh, it is. Every hospital says that the reason why they raise rates is because they're losing money because they were overrun in emergency rooms by illegals. It's the reason why wait times are the way that they are, and the cost is through the roof.
I would bet you that there's more people that are legal using those emergency room benefits than illegal.
Okay, I'll go one step further, and this is probably more true. Most people don't go to emergency rooms unless it is dire. Like, rarely do people go in for a tummy ache. But
yeah, you know what? You ever been in an emergency room at Hartford Hospital?
Only once. Go in
there and sit down and see how many of those people are out.
Oh yeah, no. I've been to enough hospitals to know when my wife tells me I think we got to go to a hospital, I dread it, Dave, because I know it's going to be. I mean, it is. Oh boy, it's a magnitude of different people in there. But yeah, I mean, I've been in there, and it's one of the places I dread. It's the one waiting room I never want to be a part of.
Well, that's right. And most people that aren't insured, that's where they end up. That's
Yeah.
where they go for their treatment.
That's true. Absolutely, 100%. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you. Let me get to Dan real quick. Hey, Dan.
What's up, Reese?
What's up, boss?
Not much. Hey, your buddy there that doesn't like your Negro nonsense. Let's make it like equal opportunity now, and I've got a couple titles for a couple that you can go with.
Okay, we're going to have at it.
You can either go with Whitey Wackiness.
I like that.
Hold on. Honky Hooligans.
Okay.
Or my favorite, cracker craziness.
All right. Are you saying that would sort of even the playing field and people wouldn't feel so isolated?
Right.
Okay.
That gets the black community and the white community into it, and any other community that wants to be into it can be added in also as we go along.
Yes. So that's right. It'll be equal opportunity nonsense. You know what? I will definitely consider it just so they can get off my back about it. Okay?
There you go.
Thank you, Dan. I appreciate you, sir. Hey, Kim, how are you, Kim? What's going on?
I'm doing fine. How are you doing, Reese?
I'm right. By the way, I need to tell you, I don't want to talk about it any further, but I got in trouble because of you once. You know that?
Is that because I say a certain name?
No. You had said something. I don't even remember what it was. But when I say I got in trouble, I'm totally being tongue in cheek. But it was about a conversation that you and I had, and then somebody had gotten offended. I didn't see anything wrong when I listened to it. I was like, I don't know what the hell they're talking about. But you know how people get. They get a little sensitive. You know, if you talk about certain things that are considered taboo, it immediately becomes, well, I didn't like the way that was said. And then that became a deal. And I'm like, whatever. So nonetheless, I always wanted to let you know this because it happened like months ago. Like, in fact, I think it happened like a year ago. And I wanted to mention it.
Truth can be offensive at times, you know.
It is. But I just wanted to let you know that you had created some controversy. So that was
maybe
just...
Maybe I'll talk about more controversy. But I have two topics, quick topics. One is about Charlie Kirk, and the other is related to Charlie Kirk.
Can you do it in less than a minute?
Oh, probably not.
Okay, so here's what I'll do. Hold on for me. I'm going to put you on hold, and I'll bring you back on the other half because I love a good Charlie Kirk story. Because I don't want anybody to forget that man. So give me a second. I'm going to put you on hold, and then I'll bring you back in on the top of the other hour, okay?
Okay.
Thank you. All right, no problem, of course. We'll talk to Kim in the next hour about that. I don't have time to take Rob, unfortunately. Let me see. Oh, my God, Reese. Have been saying the same thing for years. Just even it out. Florida itself will give you plenty of stories. Yes, I could totally do Florida man stuff till my eyes bleed, Matt. Without a doubt. Those stories are great. When he said the thing about crazy, or was it wacky whites or whatever it was, I immediately started thinking of Little Rock, Arkansas, you know, where Bill Clinton's from. I remember the first documentary I saw about the gangs in Little Rock, Arkansas. And there were these really pale white kids with their pants down and their underwear showing, throwing up gang signs. I was like, what alternative universe is this? It's like Bizarro World.
The hour that packs a punch. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC. News Talk 1080.
All right, we are back, and you know what? Let's do it. It's Hollywood News with your correspondent, Reese on the radio. All the glamour, all the glare. It's Reese on the radio. You may have heard this, but there are millions, and I mean millions of people who are pretty much unsubscribing to Netflix. Now, look, I got to admit, I can't do it because I'm in this business, and whatever Netflix is doing, I got to watch it. I got to find out what's going on, if something's going on. So I can't. But I understand a lot of you are. And the reason why is because Netflix has now gone the way of Disney. Turns out that there's a lot of children's programming on the Netflix Kids app that have been talking about transgenderism in its programming. Now, I wouldn't have paid attention to this if it was one or maybe even two shows, but it turns out it's a lot of shows. And one caught my attention that got me so angry, and it's a Transformers show that is talking about being non-binary. Talk about irony. Yes, if you haven't heard it, you got to look it up. It's an insane story. But yes, of course, Netflix would have a Transformers series talking about transgenderism and non-binary. I couldn't stop laughing when I saw it, and I went, what? But it is appropriate. No, not appropriate in a sense for kids. It's just appropriate that they would do it with Transformers and think that it was okay. I'm just saying, it's funny, it's great. The fact that no one's made a joke about it has completely blown my mind. That it is the perfect joke. But Netflix is really hemorrhaging. Its stock prices is plummeting. It's going way, way down. It's really, really bad. So it's unfortunate, but that's where it is right now. And that's your Hollywood news. Mark Christopher's about to get into traffic with the BPS Traffic Center. Mark, I meant to ask you, are you familiar with Melba Moore? Because I know you love music. Are you familiar with her?
Melba Moore, R&B singer, right?
Yes, correct. And she's got a book out. And she's going to be on the program on Tuesday to talk about that book and to talk about her career. I didn't know this. Back in 1972, Melba Moore had a variety show similar to like Smothers Brothers did with
really.
Yeah, she had her own. She and I got to find out who the other guy was, but she and another gentleman did what was considered then the first black variety show on television back in 1972. I did not know that about her.
I did not know that either.
Yeah, so we'll talk to her about that on Tuesday to break that down. But Melba Moore on the program on Tuesday.
Very cool. Can't wait to hear it. If you're heading into Hartford right now, Reese.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Yeah, and we're back. I just want to give a little plug to Melba Moore. That's her book. This Is It, Marvelous and Getting Better, written by her and her. She is a co-author on that, but that's her book, This Is It. She'll be on the program on Tuesday next week. We'll talk to her a bit, roughly about 4:05, talk about what she's done, what she's doing, and how she's doing. So make sure you tune in for that. Talk about a blast from the past, Lori. You're 100% right. And thank you for that. Clifton Davis and Melba Moore had a variety show. It was the first sort of like duo, because you were right about the Flip Wilson show. That was kind of a one-man thing. But a lot of people were doing that, what's it? Rowan and Martin's Laughing, sort of like a dual thing. She was one of the first African-Americans to do a variety show. But that was in 1972, so I was like 3. So I didn't even know that. And I learned that about reading her bio. I was like, wow. Zach writes, can a Transformer robot be non-binary if the computer in its head only speaks in binary? That's what makes this cartoon interesting, I guess. I wouldn't know. Let's get back to Kim. Kim wanted to say something about Charlie Kirk. Now, I have to ask, is this related to a conspiracy theory about his passing?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
Okay.
There's so many things you could cover, but
I know.
Yeah.
Go on. What you got?
No, a couple of things. The Charlie Kirk thing. I thought I was emotional about that because, like Erica Kirk, I'm a relatively new widow, and Charlie Kirk had gone to 3 weeks behind me. He had, or 3 weeks or 4 weeks behind me. He had gone to Japan. I did a around the world trip.
Oh wow!
And I was in Japan for quite a while, and his conclusions about Japan, which were exactly the same as mine. It's like, it's wonderful, all right?
Okay.
As far as I always have a criteria of no graffiti, no garbage, no criminal activity, orderly and polite people, and sure enough, they hit everything well.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not just that about that. But Charlie Kirk, I started to listen to him because of that, and I had heard him before, but it never really took with me how good a person he was and how energetic he was and great at delivery. And his message was really inspiring. Mm-hmm. So here's a story today that Kash Patel had gotten rid of the ADL.
Yes. Yes.
Out of the FBI. And that's important. And they're trying to say it's because they had the ADL, Anti-Defamation Defense League, right? Had said bad things about Charlie Kirk, that he was on an extremist and hate-filled message list that they have.
Yeah, they were much like the Southern Poverty Law Center.
Right, and if you had if I've been calling since 2009, telling people to read The Shadow Party by David Horowitz, how George Soros and Hillary Clinton are undermining America. He talked a lot about the Southern Poverty Law Center, who has billions or close to billions, and an offshore Caribbean account, Grand Cayman, by the way. But it also about the Anti-Defamation, Anti-Semitic Defamation League. Now, keep in mind that Horowitz was Jewish.
Yes.
And he knew all the tricks that were going on with the communists, too. So it's not just that Kash Patel got rid of the association in the FBI. Is Comey has there's stories about Comey has written love letters, they call it, to the ADL.
Mm-hmm.
He embedded FBI people in any of the manufactured events or not manufactured.
Right, anything that they were considering these extremist groups, Comey was responding to such as if an arm of that.
And he took their research and reports, and he had his people kind of work with them, right?
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing. Kash Patel said an important line. It's a political front group masquerading as a watchdog group. You have to watch what they're saying. And like the guy in England, Tony Robinson, he's anti-Muslim. Anti-Semitic is a stupid term because it refers to all people of the Middle East. So it's anti-Jewish or anti-Muslim, right? So Tommy Robertson in the UK is very anti-Muslim because of what he has seen has happened to his country.
And he's not even anti-Muslim. He's anti-invasion in his view.
Invasion, right, because they've subordinated all the regular citizens of the UK.
Correct.
But what has happened is that the ADL has said that they were against him too. And you think about it, the Middle East is Jew versus Muslim, and so they're saying he's a problem as well.
Right. Yeah. Interesting part. Kim, I do have to let you go, but can I throw a little surprise at you?
Yes.
Do you remember I began our conversation by saying that you got me in a little bit of trouble?
Yes.
It was the ADL.
Oh, yeah, you can't trust them.
I just know. The reason why I'm telling you that is because I knew you were going to go into it with that, and I knew about the Kash Patel story, but I wanted to sort of like say, Kim, you should congratulate yourself because you got on their radar.
Yes. And one last thing, that caller who said you don't have any black people who call your show, I think Mark from Windsor will be very surprised.
He'd be very upset about that. He totally would. Thank you, Kim, as always. I appreciate you.
Yep.
You got it. Yeah, again, that's, a lot of, he doesn't listen to the show long enough to know who listens to this show. He'd be incredibly surprised at how many African Americans, blacks, people of color, whatever, listen to the program. I'm not even concerned about that. There's a large group of people who listen to this program. I wanted to let Kim know that it's a big deal when you get on somebody's radar. It is. I'll say this. You remember the conversation I had with Josh Elliott yesterday talking about Jimmy Kimmel. And he had asked me the question saying that, if a president of the United States had tried to squash your freedom of speech, how would you feel about it? And my response to it is, which again, I don't know why these people talk to me like I come from a place that doesn't know better. I had it happen. And when you know that somebody is coming for you, and it wasn't just Bill, it was Hillary too. And I never once, and it's funny because I told my wife this years after we got together, I told her the story. And she turns around and she says to me, "Are you serious?" And I'm like, "Yeah." She was like, "Why have you never told me this story?" As I've always said, not a name dropper. But yes, I know exactly what it's like when someone's trying to stop your freedom of speech or telling you what you can and cannot say. My response to that was, fire me. That was as simple as that. Fire me. And I promise you, I will make a case out of it. And I'm not talking about in litigation. I will make it a case in the court of public opinion. I will make it known that somebody is telling me, just old me, sitting in a Connecticut studio, that they made a case out of me just because I read a story that's in the news, in the Washington Post, about your library. I'll make a deal out of it. Absolutely. And no one ever bothered me again about it. I was warned again when the documentary about Stan Lee came out, about Peter Paul and his issues with the Hillary Clinton campaign. Everybody knows what happened after that. Yeah, I'm well aware of what it's like to have people come after you, powerful folks come after you. Just lowly old me. Yeah, I know exactly what it's like. But you never see me. And it's not about that dropping dime or, tattletaling. I don't need to do any of that. I know exactly who's listening. I know exactly who's talking. They make it clear. They can't help themselves. So, yeah, that was all the that was all the DNC talking points. It sure was. I've got some people sending me messages. I may have to go into figuring out what all of these are. Let me take one more. Let's go Chris in Wethersfield. Hey, Chris, how are you? Chris?
Good. How you doing,
Reese?
Reese?
Hey, what's up, man? Hey, long time no hear from.
Hey. Yeah, no kidding. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Whoa! Wait a minute. Hold on. I don't want anybody to miss what you're saying. So you're sounding a little underwater. See if you can get stationary so we can come in clear. It sounds like you're moving around a bit.
Yeah. Now.
Yeah, not better. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you 2 minutes, and I'm going to get right back to you, okay? So hold on for me. I'll take Dave in Brantford real quick, get him on, and then I'll go back to Chris. What's up, Dave?
Yeah, tough to go quick, but I'll try. Josh Elliott made a technical economics point yesterday
that
I would like to respond to. He was talking about the middle class property taxes that are paid by people.
Yeah, why didn't you call yesterday, Dave? I needed you.
I really wasn't calling when Josh was on it. Congratulations, he stuck around.
Yes.
Anyway, his point was a lot of lower income, middle class people, all their investable and equity income is tied up in their house.
Right.
So they're paying property taxes on the full value of their investment wealth.
That's right.
And the rich people who have a lot more stocks, hedge funds, and gold, they're not paying property tax on that. The point I'd like to make is that the property tax, your house and your car, are rationally related to expenses that the town has to pay, to maintain your investment.
Right.
Plow the roads, the snow, the garbage,
right.
the fire department.
Huge point of what Craig was making yesterday, saying that these folks clearly have more sweat equity into their neighborhoods, where Greenwich and Darien, not so much. They don't have kids in school. Most of those folks are empty nesters or older folks.
So that gets me to the second point. Instead of whining about the rich people not pulling their weight, I'd say in my town, I just had to pay $170 in sewer tax. It's a use tax. If you use it, you pay for it.
Yeah.
A lot of people, the bottom half, are not paying anything to run the town.
That's a good point.
I think, we have to pay money to join the Little League, for pregnant women to have yoga classes at the rec department. I think we should have a small, modest fee to enroll children in schools. I think $200 is not unreasonable. Just to get some money out of people. Let's face it, your kids get fed. The girls get hygiene products now in school. There's all kinds of stuff.
Dave, are you getting taxed like the Affordable Care Act, like paying for things that you don't use? Like,
of course, mainly the schools, mainly the. I've never had a fire.
Right.
I've never used the EMT. Mostly, I'm not. I do use the garbage, and I appreciate the roads.
Yeah, sure.
But my property tax. I'm getting old. It's getting a heavier and heavier burden. And a lot of people are paying nothing at all to float the boat of my town. That was my point.
Perhaps he should. No problem. Perhaps he should do like what's his name? Gavin Newsom is doing. Make some other people pay their way. Chris, are you there? You good?
I'm still there. Can
no,
you hear
you're
me,
perfect. Bro? Let's see if we can get you in a minute and a half. What's up?
Minute and a half. Okay. Reading an article in New York Post. Guy on condition of what is
anonymity.
He didn't want to say his name. Thank you. the letting the shutdown happen because this is this person's words, he wanted to inflict maximum punishment on the Democrats. So my question is, who are the Democrats? Are the Democrats just the elected officials in Washington? And I think you're going to say no. There's more. There's more than just. You're not just screwing the people at the elected officials. Now let's talk about. Let's say 50% of the United States are Democrats. So are you just screwing those 50% of the Democrats in the United States? And the answer is, well, yes, but the answer is really no. This shutdown is going to affect everybody.
Right.
I don't think it's just Democrats who are getting their insurance from the Affordable Care Act.
Correct.
I'm sure there are Republicans out there who are going to see their insurance rate maybe double. So my point here is when Trump comes out and he says, I want to inflict damage on the Democrats, what he's really doing is hurting the entire United States.
It's only partially true for this level. And I get what you're saying, because I can nuance this into anything I wish to with respect to that, because of the people who are affected by the shutdown. But see, the argument still lies here. What is causing this? If all the Republicans are signing the CR and the only thing holding them up is 7 more Democrats, because you need 60 to sign on, that it really, and you know that the caucus of the Democrats is telling them, do not sign. You can say, you're saying that he's inflicting the pain on them. No, we all signed the continuing resolution. It's the Democrats who refuse to buckle. So it has got to be on them, especially if the only thing that needs to be done in order to open it up is to sign that agreement, and the Democrats have refused to. I got to go to a break, but I appreciate the question. In fact, stay on hold. I'll get you on the other end. Stand by. Let's get to Mark Christopher. He's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
The Odyssey app lets you jump back to the moments you missed from WTIC News Talk 1080. Download the free Odyssey app. Search WTIC News Talk 1080 and tap earlier today to get started.
All right, and in what had happened was, you know the deal. We talked in the beginning about the government shutdown, of course, about the hypocrisy by the left. We played all the audio for you. If you need to watch that, make sure you go to reasonoradio.com or go to the Odyssey app or go to WTIC.com in order to check out the show. And you can also download the Odyssey app, and you can get the Reese on the Radio podcast, where you can go to any section of the show that you like. Yes, Negro nonsense is included. So make sure you go there to check it out. And I like the fact that we do the little, bullet points on the show and benchmarks on the show. It lets everybody know exactly where they need to be. On tomorrow's program, Glenn Lungarini, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, I think it's Glenn Lungarini, who's the executive director of CIAC, the Connecticut Interscholastic Athletic Conference. He'll be on the program to talk about Mr. Baker, the former NFL player, and the Windsor School. Also, I have somebody who is sending me an interview that was just done with Mr. Baker about this, and I hear that there's going to be a press conference tomorrow anyway, and that's fine. We'll get to the bottom of that as well. I think that's about it. Let me take Chris so I can wrap this up. Chris,
you got it, bro.
Just so I understand where you're coming from.
Yep.
Here's what I'm trying to convey to you. The bottom line is that the Democrats are holding the line on getting illegals Medicaid care, whether it's emergency or pregnant or concussion care, whatever it is. They're holding the line to make sure that they get that care that they provide for them. This is the political stand that they want to make. This is the hill they wish to die on. My question to you is, if in less than 30 seconds, should they do it?
For illegals, they need to be put out to pasture. But I'm more worried about the people who are on the Affordable Care Act, because what's going to happen is if they don't have insurance, and they go to a hospital, the hospital's not going to refuse them. So that somebody's going to pay for that. And I think it's going to be the hospital. I don't think will, because we already have 3 hospitals in Connecticut that are almost into bankruptcy, right?
Oh, but you trust me, those things are into bankruptcy. They've got bigger problems than that. That's a story I got to fill, because I got nurses I'm talking to now who are going to be guests on the show. Those stories are bad. But I'm glad that you said that. I just wanted to hold you up for a little bit. Thanks, Chris, and good to hear from you again. Let's get another check of our weather and traffic before we get out of here. Mark Christopher, he's at the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
What's up, everybody? You know who it is. You know who it is. You know who it is. It's Reese on the radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
Okay, so I've been thinking about it since you guys mentioned it, and we've done this for a while. And you know, what I like to do in this program, I'll do for a long time, and then I'll say to myself, okay, I got to switch it up. It's not that I'm getting rid of Negro nonsense. It's going nowhere. I love it. But I am going to do something new. So next week, I am going to feature a new I'm just going to feature another benchmark for the program because the crowd, you asked for it, so I'm going to give it to you. I'm not going to tell you when it is or when it's going to air, but you can damn well bet it will be early next week. Could be Monday, could be Tuesday, maybe even Wednesday. But it will be a weekly thing. I've already got the music laid out in my head. I've already got the bit done. It's ready to go, okay? So all of the critics and all of the people who want, or, by popular demand, want their own version of Negro nonsense, you got one, and you are going to get it. I promise you are going to get it next week, okay? Now, with that being said, it is Thursday, and I didn't ask for this. They did. I have another Negro nonsense, and this one's going to blow your mind.
Negro nonsense.
How dare you?
Negro nonsense.
How dare you?
Negro nonsense.
How dare you?
Action.
I automatically said that's unacceptable. And I don't think nothing's funny about it.
Prather says there's a history of black people being described that way, which makes it extremely upsetting.
My skin is boiling. I don't even like racism, and to know where we come from and our ancestors, and for us to be labeled like that, because when they call us monkey, they basically saying that we're ugly, we act like a monkey and all this and that. I don't like that at all.
What is this young lady talking about? Okay. According to the story, at this elementary school called the Floral Avenue Elementary School, a young boy came into the classroom on his birthday, and the teacher decided to sing a birthday song that now they're finding offensive. What was the birthday song? Well, it wasn't a traditional happy birthday, happy birthday. That wasn't that. No, it definitely wasn't a Stevie Wonder version. That's not for you. It's really for Martin Luther King Jr. No. This was the birthday song. I'll sing it for you. You might remember it. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. You smell like a monkey. And you look like one, too. Yes, Lori's already ahead of me. First of all, we've been doing that song since I was, 2? I don't even know how old I was. Only reason why I know it is because we sing it to all of our friends. No one has ever called it racist. No one, not a soul, not a solitary soul has ever called that racist. But I guess it is now. Again, I'm floored. Now you know why we do the segment. If I haven't explained it to you enough, that is the reason why. Exactly. Wendy's like, my kids still sing it to each other. Yep, not anymore, though. Now it's a wrap. Again, if you're boiling like her blood is boiling, now you know why I do this segment. Now you know why. Let's get to the phones. 860-522-WTIC. Jackson Windsor. Hello, sir.
So there's going to be a lot less need
Jack?
for electric chargers out on the Mass Turnpike and the other roads where these...
Okay, I don't know who he may be talking to someone else. Let's go to Ken in Tallinn. Hello, Ken. How are you?
Yeah, this is a talk show, right?
Yeah, what's up?
Great. Yeah. Well, I'd like to discuss, first of all, I have three topics here. DEI. I watched Charlie Kirk talking to some college students, and he said to them, would you rather have a doctor operate on you that's got plenty of experience, or someone else just got hired from DEI? Which would you choose? Well, let's go back to Trump's choices, okay?
Okay.
Everyone he has in his system right now, they have no experience in any of it.
Name one.
The War Department. What is his experience?
Pete Hegseth was not in the military? He's not a decorated war hero?
I don't know if he's a decorated war hero.
Well, then maybe Ken. You should, Ken. If you don't know it, perhaps you should stop.
No.
Ken, no, Ken, you said it yourself. You said, I don't know. Okay. So, Ken, you are on this phone. Stop, Ken. I'm listening to you, and I'm having a conversation with you. So let me respond. You just got up here to talk about people's experience. And then I asked you, did you know that Pete Hegseth was a decorated war hero? And you said, I don't know. So perhaps, wait. Perhaps, Ken, perhaps
From
you
where?
should, Ken,
what war?
Perhaps you should take your own advice and stop while you're ahead talking about things that you have no experience in.
Okay, let's go on to the
No. We're done, Ken. Ken, and you know what? And Ken, no. Ken, I'm done with you. I'm done with you because your openings.
If you don't like what people are saying,
Ken,
you hang up on.
Ken, I didn't hang up on you, Ken. You're still here. Ken, you're still here.
$17 trillion from tariff.
Ken,
where is it?
I'm going to say to you one more time.
$17 trillion.
Do you think you just want to repeat? You want to just repeat the question, or you want me to speak to you? Okay, thank you.
Ken,
when I'm done with our first question, I'll get to the 17 trillion. So you don't want to deal with that now because you've been embarrassed by it. You didn't know what you were talking about.
Not embarrassed at all.
So be quiet then, and let me finish. You don't know anything about the person. You said, well, the Secretary of War, what does he know? You don't even know who he is. You know nothing about him, and then you came here to criticize him. You came in here with a head full of hot air, and you were uninformed. Don't ever come on a talk show and say, it's a talk show, so let's just talk. Next time you come here, no. Next time you come here, all right? And we'll be looking out for you, Ken. The next time you come out here and talk about people's inexperience, make sure you can back it up with a little bit of experience of your own, like a little bit of knowledge and know-how. It's been a pleasure. Have a wonderful evening. The nerve of some of these bozos. The absolute nerve. I don't know if he's a war hero. But I can tell you he doesn't know nothing about war. I don't know nothing about him, but I know he's not prepared to be the Secretary of War. What's up, Scott?
Reese, every day I take my husky up the reservoir and I run him and I listen to you on the radio. And so many times you did so many great takedowns. I can't believe it. I totally enjoy listening to you.
Thank you, Scott.
You're a great speaker.
Thank you. So I don't even think that much, but that's very nice of you to say. Sometimes I can fumble a bit because I'm kind of going on like raw energy, but I really appreciate you saying that. And the Huskies, how many Huskies? Just one?
Yeah, just one, yeah.
Can I ask you a personal question about the Huskies?
Yeah.
I will tell you that I think they're one of the most beautiful dogs in the world. But I have to be honest with you. I like a lot of dogs, but it is one of the dogs that I'm kind of fearful of. Can you help me?
They're a lot of work.
They are? Okay. Because I have a little bit of apprehension for them. Did you ever hear that people look at them like they're kind of wolf-like, and that may be where the apprehension is?
Yeah.
Okay.
I had a little kid come up to me at the lake, started crying. He goes, he looks like Dracula. Yeah.
Well, there was only, I'm telling you, the reason why is that you may not remember this movie, but there was a film called The Lost Boys back in the days. You know, it's about vampires, and they had a pet dog named Nanook in the movie. And I fell in love with that dog, and he protected the young kid played by Corey Haim in the film. And as a young man in my 15, 16 years old, I really took a liking to that. I was like, look, that dog is protective. I would love a dog like that. But as I got older, I got very fearful of them because of, that sort of look, as you said, like a sort of a monster look. And I was always cautious because what if I can't train them the right way? So that was my apprehension.
Huskies they're usually friendly.
Okay.
Huskies.
They're not docile, though, right?
They're a lot of work. They're a lot of work. I take them for a walk in the morning, after work, and now I hang in a 24-foot cord out the window, and I let him run with the car. I've been doing this for 8 years.
How old is the husky?
He's 8.
Oh, yeah, good age, good age. And do you mind if I ask what's his name?
Keno.
Keno, perfect name. That's a great name. Thank you, Scott. I really appreciate that, and thank you, for sharing your story with us, and thank you for letting me know about Keno.
Okay, thank you.
You got it, buddy. Thank you. Dr. Steve is on the line. What's up, buddy?
Hey, Reese. I wanted to just make a comment in response to one of your recent callers.
Yeah.
So I know you just had a caller sort of applaud you for how you handled the prior caller. Who, had,
the Hegseth guy, yeah.
Without being prepared to answer your questions. But I wanted to say, actually, I like you, Reese. I like listening to your show and enjoy the counterpoint, or the counterpoint and talking through things. But I would actually say I don't like how you handled that case. And, of course, it's your show, and you can handle folks any way you want. But I would argue that what you did was bullying, and you publicly humiliated a man on the radio who, he may deserve to be told he doesn't know the right way to, be prepared to ask a question. But I think publicly humiliating somebody is bullying. And I wonder what you think about that.
Okay. I will, as a person who has been bullied and understands bullying from the bullying or being bullied perspective, I would say that in this regard, Dr. Steve, the individual whom I was denigrating or bullying, as you put it, he's got a reputation on this program. He often calls with his wife shouting in the background other talking points that he's heard on other liberal shows. He's not a fan of Reese on the radio. He comes on aggressively to either condemn me, condemn my point of view, condemn this audience, and also this radio station for not seeing the world in the way in which he does. So he comes in very adversarial. I've dealt with him plenty of times. In fact, I've dealt with him so much, I've often tried to be quite kind to him. He's only been more and more rude. Now, I know you haven't experienced my interactions with him. It's obvious you haven't. You sort of looked at this as a one-off, and I get it. So I don't take any offense to that. But I will tell you this. As I have with other guys like Tony and all those other guys, they'll call up, and I'll be very, very nice because I don't want to ever come off like I don't appreciate the people who take the time to call. It's when they are rude and disrespectful to me that I immediately have to assert who I am and what I will not tolerate. So when people talk to me in a certain way, I'll give them an opportunity. But when they don't know they're talking about, especially guys like Ken, who is, again, those things as I just described, I immediately stop them in their tracks because some people think that they should be allowed to behave any which way they want to. I'm here to tell them that will not be tolerated. We can have a discussion where we debate, and I debate with plenty of people, as I do with you, Dr. Steve, but there are some people who, unfortunately, and I apologize if I have to be a little crass here, I got to smack around a bit. I mean, and I make no apologies.
Yeah, I understand that. I mean, I think I didn't appreciate the context and that there's multiple prior calls, and that certainly can add.
Yeah,
to
but
a
I
layer of
can't,
frustration
Dr.
there.
Steve, I can't expect you to listen to every hour of the show or even know what my earlier interactions was. That's why, you know what? That's why I'm not even looking at you like, you don't know, Dr. Steve. No, I just, I'm looking at it as, and as I'm doing here. Even though, like, some people would say, like, what do you know, Dr. Steve? Why would you, like, people would immediately say that. I was like, you don't know who he is. Like, my approach is, I already know, Dr. Steve, you wouldn't be saying that unless this was sort of one of those times where you saw me do something that you thought was outside of my own character. And that's because usually when you're listening, I am always respectful, always, there's some reciprocity in our exchanges. And it's interesting that after I had to blow this loser out, you come on the line and I'm as pleasant as the day is long, right?
Right.
So-
and I think for my part, I think there's too much bullying happening in politics. There's
Understood.
too much, gamemanship and.
But
I know
I'll
more
tell
than
you this, if it makes you feel any better, this is a part of my what's the word? I'm a little bit of a sociopath, and I can admit that. What I mean by that is as easy as I can go in and scream off a guy like Ken. You can come on, and I could be as delightful as ever, and I completely forget about the mood I was in earlier. That's kind of
right.
I mean, it's like I don't even give it a second thought about my exchange with him. So that's where that comes from. But I love you, Dr. Steve. You know that from the bottom of my heart, buddy.
Thanks, Reese. Appreciate it.
You got it. What? No, I love you too. As I always say, radio is free. So we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your minds. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese on the radio. You have a good night. Pleasant tomorrow. We'll see you back here on Friday on Reese on the radio. Mark Christopher, he's in the BPS Traffic Center getting you home. That case of loving you. He didn't say I love you too.
I know. You didn't get one back.
I love it when the girl says, like, I love you. She's like, thank you. Good night, man.
That's not a good sign. Have a good night, Reese. If you're heading into Hartford right now, southbound 91's a little...
All right, good sir.
All right, buddy.
John Silver just came over here and said, this is my first time listening to the whole 4 hours. I am mentally exhausted.
Westbound 84.
Tell John I appreciate him.
Approaching 35
Tell
down
him
to
go
33.
take a nap. You'll be fine.
Into Waterbury, slowing from exit 25 up to the mix map.
Oh, man, that was great. I love you too, John. Yeah, he just left it out there, Lord. He just hanging out there. Oh, man. I love all of you guys. You guys be good to you. John Silva, mentally exhausted. I don't think I can get a better compliment than that. Even if it's in a bad way, I still appreciate it. You guys be good to each other. I got to give this guy a call from the CIAC to get him on the show tomorrow, man. I love you guys. Be good to each other. I'll see you mañana.